Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The Utah Jazz, they just refuse to lose, man. They're 9-3. Three of their last three wins were against Los Angeles teams. I know the Lakers at 2-8. The Lakers are 2-8. That's actually hilarious. They have one of the best defenses in the league. The Clippers are one of the deepest teams in the league. Utah has yet to lose at home. They're 5-0 at home. They just keep winning, man. They literally just keep on winning. And I was watching the broadcast last night. I forget who the announcer was, but I felt like he brought up a really, really good point, and he just hit the nail on the head where he was mentioning, like, yes, Lauri Markkanen last night, 23 points. He's averaging over 20 a night. He's giving you about 9 rebounds. He's giving you 3 assists. He's shooting well from downtown. He's doing all these things. But even if Lauri Markkanen were to just fall off just a little bit, like, not necessarily a 20-point per game scorer, looking like the all-star he is. I think he will be an all-star. I think he will average over 20. But let's just, for hypothetical purposes, say he were to just, see a decrease in just production. They have plenty of pieces to pick up the pie right where he left off. And that's what actually makes Utah so dominant, is that they are so selfless. They are playing within this system, and they are just playing through each other. So, Lauri Markkanen is a stud. My former Chicago Bull, he is literally a stud. But that's what makes Utah so fascinating, is there's not necessarily this all-star, superstar player on the team. Or I guess in this case, we have all-star Lauri Markkanen, or that's my prediction. But, guys like Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, Kelly Olynyk in that starting lineup as veteran help. Jordan Clarkson also, last night Utah was missing Jared Vanderbilt, so Malik Beasley hops into the starting lineup and he gives me 14 points on an extremely efficient night. And Malik can also play defense. So I got a lot of comments on my last Jazz video saying, like, damn, you're kind of right. Like, I was just kind of assuming the Jazz. This is from non-Jazz fans, by the way. Yeah, like, I was kind of assuming the Jazz weren't going to be that good, and I'm taking a look at this roster, and it's like, yeah, they're like a really solid all-around team. And I think this is kind of, I won't go as far to say as I think this is what the future of the NBA is, but I think it is fascinating because, you usually have, well, ever since that Celtics team was created back in, when was that created, 06, 07? When that Celtics team was created and you had this big three or big four or what have you, and LeBron and the Heat make a big three, we're drifting away from the big three. We're getting into, I think we're kind of getting back to these deadly duos. And in this case, you have, you've got your stud, like, they're all kind of studs actually, but it's just an all-around team, balanced basketball squad on both ends of the court. Because Utah right now, I know they're 9-3 and they're 5-0 and they're playing so good, but when you really dive into the deeper statistics, it's all there. It all matches exactly what they're doing right now. They're a top 10 offense. They're a top 10 defense. They have a great coach. Their players are producing. Like last night, you had 7 guys in double digits. Off of the bench, you had Colin Sexton continue to do his thing. You had Talen Horton-Tucker, who is, I know he's shooting like 25% from downtown, but if you've watched my Jazz videos before, you know my thoughts on Talen. Like last year with the Lakers, right before the offseason, he dropped 40. I don't think normal players just are able to drop 40. So, welcome back to the channel, man. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it. Hopefully this works. I made a recap video right when this game ended, and being on the East Coast, the game ended at like 1 a.m. Made a recap video last night because I got a new mic, so let me know how the audio sounds, if it sounds better. And of course, the mic wasn't plugged in, so there's no volume. So I wake up today and I see my video has nothing. I'm like, oh, perfect. But another opportunity to talk about the Utah Jazz, right? So, nobody can figure this team out, and it's because there isn't really anything to figure out. I think, I know that might sound a little vague, but once again, I mean, guys like Kelly Olynyk, Kelly last night, we'll use last night as an example. He played, 23 minutes. He had too many turnovers, but, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals on a block. He missed 1 shot, didn't take 3. It's just all the little things that add up for this team. I mean, Mike Conley, I know I mentioned this in my last video. Last night, an extremely efficient game from him. 14 points, 12 assists, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from downtown. It's hard to really realize, and this honestly applies for his entire career. It's kind of hard to understand or even appreciate what Mike Conley is doing right now, but like I said, especially his whole career, is one of the most underrated NBA players of my generation, or of my lifetime, I should say. He does so much for this team. I mean, not only is he a veteran presence, he's one hell of a point guard, he's a leader. He's just a phenomenal leader, whether he needs to be a vocal leader at times, whether he needs to be a leader by example. This team has a bunch of guys who, in the locker room, just blend. They mix well. There's nobody, crazy. There's nothing outlandish going on. It's just a bunch of guys who have been underappreciated, undervalued, or under-recognized in their entire NBA careers. So, I mean, they're just so fun, man. They're having a blast out there. And as a fan, or I should say as an NBA fan, I didn't live in Utah long enough to be a fan of them. Wrong side of Utah. It's just awesome. They are definitely the most surprising team. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and I believe whatever source they were talking about had the Utah Jazz as winning 42 games. The updated projection on the Utah was to win 44 games. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe they're not necessarily better than last year's Utah Jazz, because Utah, honestly, the last several years they've been one phenomenal basketball team until we get into the playoffs and things just go a little bit differently, because I personally think Rudy Gobert is hard to win with Rudy Gobert when it matters. But a whole multitude of different reasons you can chalk it up to. However, I think they're more dimensional. I think that they are meshing a lot better. I think that their future potential is a lot higher. And it's really cool to see what Danny Ainge is doing, because he has a knack for finding these studs. I mean, guys like Walker Kessler, 19 minutes last night, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 3 of those were offensive. We know Walker Kessler is one block stud. He had two of them last night. So he found him in the draft. You also have Ochai. Ochai came in on garbage time at the end of the game, but future outlook for guys like Walker, who's already a part of the rotation, guys like Ochai, Balmoro. I'm very big on Leandro Balmoro. I'm kind of surprised he isn't playing too much. He must not be. Same thing with Simone Fontecchio. I think Simone Fontecchio, one of my buddies, thought he was a Rookie of the Year candidate, and I was, when I looked into it, I'm agreeing with him. I'm like, damn, dude, you're kind of right here. It's not funny, but he came in a couple of weeks ago at the start of the season, drained like 3 threes in 3 minutes, and there was a popular YouTuber who was like, "Random generated player makes 3 threes," and I saw that tweet. I'm like, whoa! Simone Fontecchio is not a randomly generated player. He is a Rookie of the Year candidate, and unfortunately, he hasn't gotten too much run. But long-term outlook, I'm loving Utah right now. I'm loving Utah, and this is very clearly a play-in team right now. As it stands right now, the way they're playing basketball, they're very clearly a play-in team. So that's it for today. If you guys want more Jazz content, the like button, hit that sub button. I've been posted on pretty much every other day. Jazz fans, you guys show us so much love on this channel. I appreciate it so much. And drop some opinions on the team down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.